Hello, it's Nicko with food cravings from chefnicko.com, and today we're making Armenian style steak tartare, also known as Cig Kofte, or in the Arab world as Kibbeh Nayeh. Cig Kofte is a raw meatball dish in Armenian and Middle Eastern cuisine, very similar to Kibbeh Nayeh, and to a lesser extent steak tartare. During preparation, tendons and fat are removed before grinding the beef or lamb. Relatively expensive high-quality beef has to be used so that the meat can be safely served raw. The raw meatball or kofte is not kept overnight and is served for special occasions. Finely ground bulgur wheat is required. Other ingredients are mild onions, scallions, and parsley. Variants of the dish may use tomato sauce or pepper paste. Cig Kofte is considered a delicacy in Cilician Armenian culture and is normally prepared on special occasions, especially during holidays. There are many varieties of Cig Kofte among Armenian families depending on the historic region they are from and their personal preferences. For example, some may use more or less bulgur, others more or less pepper paste depending on their desired spiciness. And now let's get started. In a separate bowl, we'll start with some fine-grained bulgur. For this recipe, you'll want to avoid using number 3 or 4 coarsely ground bulgur. You want to go ahead and use number 1 or 2. To the bowl of bulgur, we'll want to add some water and let it rest for a moment. And what this will do is soften the bulgur up. Once the water is absorbed, we'll go ahead and give that a quick mix. Once it's evenly incorporated, we'll set aside and wait. Through the miracle of time, you'll notice the bulgur plumped up. And what we'll do next is prep the rest of our ingredients, such as white onion. For this I used the fine dice, as you can tell. Next, we'll need some hot pepper paste, and here you could choose to use either or, tomato paste or both. And since I like it spicier than usual, here I have some chipotle and jalapeno peppers, thinly sliced. We'll also need some thinly sliced scallions, and some Aleppo pepper, or haleb as it's commonly known as. And finally, some chopped parsley. And in case some of you can't find Aleppo pepper, I'll discuss substitutions further on my blog post. Here I dumped in the already hydrated bulgur. And here's a pro tip. Due to space requirements, you guessed it, we're going to go in with our hands, so we'll need to dump in the contents from our prep bowl into a mixing bowl. Once that's done, what we'll do next is add the tomato paste, or in this case, hot red pepper paste, and begin stirring to combine. And here's a pro tip to keep in mind while stirring. You'll want to make sure you don't have any bits of pepper paste, since what we're going for here is a smooth consistency which will help incorporate the rest of the ingredients well. This step will be important once we add the meat. Here you'll notice the bulgur turning a nice shade of crimson red. That's what we're looking for. Now it's time to add the meat. And the best tool for this job is your hands. You guessed it. What we'll do next is give that a quick mix as we drop in the Aleppo pepper. We're going to go right in and smash and turn and mix and flip and fold the entire mixture until evenly incorporated. Here you could see it all come together as we add in our diced onions. Next, we'll continue giving that a thorough mix by kneading it to incorporate the onions evenly throughout. An easy way of thinking of the kneading technique would be when kneading dough. You're basically doing the same thing here. Notice how everything incorporated well together? Let's take a closer look. Now we'll leave the mixture to rest for a bit before adding in our final ingredient, some salt. Now let's incorporate the salt in. Once we've given this one final mixing and the ingredients had the chance to come together, it'll be time to plate up. And while many of you had asked me what cut of meat is used for Cig Kofte, my butcher uses filet while others use top sirloin. And with all this talking, I had it noticed the serving platter began magically appearing, which was a signal that it was time to plate up. So I took a fistful of the mixture and started patting it down to shape it, giving it its signature look. And you'll want to spread this out as flat as possible so it maintains its delicate look. After all, your guests will be eating with their eyes first. Also, don't forget to smooth out the Çiğ along the sides for an all-around classic look, much like I was doing here. Once I finished garnishing, the rest decided to appear along the side of the platter like magic. Check it out! And finally, it was time to make the design. For this I used a fork with which I drew lines. Does this count as drawing boundaries in Ciğ Köfte territory? After the boundaries were deep enough, I decided to add the final touch, a nice drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. And since I made 2 platters of Ciğ Köfte, I wanted one spicier than the mild one, so I topped it with thinly sliced jalapeno peppers of the red and green kind, which appeared like magic. And of course I went in for a taste. I mean, this was Armenian culinary mastery at its finest. Who could resist? And it was at this point that I took a bit of Ciğ Köfte and placed it in a piece of Arabic bread and took a bite. But first I had to pat down the mixture and give it a roll. At first bite, the freshness of the meat really shines through. The combination of bulgur and hot red pepper paste really gave the depth of flavor, and the Aleppo pepper, it adds a much needed kick. Though not meant to knock you into next week or anything, it really does wonders. Now that you've learned how to make Ciğ Kofte, Kibbeh Nayeh or Armenian Steak Tartare, you can dazzle your friends and family with this newly found recipe. I really hope you've enjoyed my recipe for Ciğ Kofte or Armenian Steak Tartare. For ingredient amounts and more info, please visit www.chefnicko.com. See you in the next video recipe. What are your food cravings? Let us know in the comment below.